Well, today I've got a bunch of little putsy jobs. See, today I framed that and put a door handle on it. Yesterday I put the garage door. Now if you're looking, you're seeing a gap, you're wondering, gee, does Tim know what he's doing? Yes, it's not level down there. So we're gonna have to pour concrete. So what I had to do is leave a bit of a gap there to allow for the changes that are gonna be made. See, a lot of times we look at things and we say, oh, there's a problem. A lot of times we look in our life and we say, oh, there's a problem. I don't like the way things are going. Or you look at something, it doesn't seem to fit. Doesn't seem to be going right. Doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. And a lot in those situations, we get to look at God and we say, God, what in the name of time are you doing? Do you have a sweet clue? Because listen, this is the way things work. How many times do we question God because God doesn't seem to fit into the way that the world thinks? God says, my ways are not your ways, neither are my thoughts your thoughts. And yet we think if God doesn't think like us, there's a problem. If God's doing something and everything seems to be going sideways and backwards, and we know that we're living in obedience to God, but nothing seems to be going right, God says, no, because I'm preparing it for something else. I know it's coming down the pike even though you don't. So like me in that garage door, I know that I'm going to have to put concrete down to level the floor out because right now there's asphalt and it goes woo, woo, woo. It's not straight. That's not good for the bottom of a garage door. It's end up going to get twisted and destroyed. So I needed a garage door in it, so I had to prepare for what's coming down the road. Now God prepares us for what's coming down the road. A lot of times we go through stuff and it doesn't even make any sense. And we're like, God, what in the name of time are you thinking? What are you doing? And God says, well, actually, I'm not really doing what I'm gonna do yet, but you're not ready to do with what I'm gonna do, so I gotta get you ready. So then he puts us through stuff. And a lot of times we look at our lives like we look at that garage door and say something's wrong, something's messed up, something doesn't fit. But the reality is everything does fit. Everything in its perfect time, everything in its perfect place. And I mentioned this before, God says, I work all things out for good. Now working out takes time. I mean, as soon as you go to the gym, you're not buff. You got to work things out. You got to work things out to get to the point where you can be the person that you want to be physically. Well, spiritually and in life, God has to work things out so we can be the person that he wants us to be spiritually and sometimes physically. But in everything, if we look at God and we get upset and frustrated with God because he's not working in our timetable and he's not working in our way, chances are what we're doing is saying, God, we don't want to be ready. We don't want to be prepared. Sometimes God does things to show us that we're not prepared. Sometimes God allows us to go through trials and situations in life to show us that we're just not ready. So we need to be more focused. We need to have more discipline in our lives to be the person that God wants us to be. Working things out takes patience because we got to wait for God. We got to trust God. We got to live in obedience despite the fact that things don't make sense. But God does. One of the things I know about God and really gives me a lot of confidence is that God knows the beginning from the end. He said, I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the beginning and the end. And he's everything in between. So when God is putting things together, our sovereign God, and doing it for the best of us, it should be encouraging. Give us a greater sense of faith in what God's doing. All right. God bless you. Hope that's been an encouragement. We'll see you on Sunday.